I now give the call to the honourable member for Ryde.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And today in the House we were joined by some very motivated professional young Queenslanders who are proud members of the Queensland Young LNP, Mr Speaker. Callum Stewart, Matthew Jackson, David Bell, Ben Tobin, Casey Silman and Sarah Jones. All have undertaken a road trip out of Queensland to come to Canberra to catch up with their idols and becoming a little bit more politically aware of the current debates. But however, Mr Speaker, these young Queenslanders have a political position and they have a political opinion that they want to share with their colleagues back, and that is these outstanding young Queenslanders have an opposition to the carbon tax, which is strong, and there is a growing number of young people standing against the carbon tax. The Young Liberal National Party are a part of this anti-carbon tax movement in Queensland. They understand the economic impost that this toxic tax poses to their livelihoods and to their fellow Australians. The opposition to this reckless tax has been on display in a series of demonstrations by young people, including Liberal National Party members throughout Queensland. These young LNP group are a like-minded group of people between 16 and 30 years of age, motivated to make a difference by protecting individual freedoms for all Australians. They do this by being an integral part of the campaign teams across the state, and even so far as to go to help their interstate counterparts. They also develop policy in conjunction with senior party members of all levels of government. This was demonstrated recently at the Liberal National Party convention in August, where all the policies put forward by the Liberal National Party were adopted by the party as a whole. During the devastation of Queensland floods, the Young Liberal National Party were a driving force with the recovery of the affected areas. Many of the young people were students of the University of Queensland, which was greatly affected, and assisted the recovery efforts of the campus and the surrounding areas. In the proud tradition of Conservative politics, both the youth wing of the LNP supports small business, and in the tradition of youth politics, many of the small businesses are located in the entertainment districts of their towns and various most of the small businesses that they support are the local pubs and clubs. They have in Queensland with the upcoming state election, these things they call flying squads, Mr Speaker, and they go out and they help the likes of Campbell Newman up there to try and make sure that they get him elected as the next Premier of Queensland. I myself started as a young LNP member in Queensland, and I share with this House that I believe I was actually tricked into joining that organisation, where I heard the invitation along the lines of, "Would you like to come to a party?" So I rolled up with a carton of beer to this party, only to find out that I was the only one with a carton of beer. It happened to be the AGM of the local LNP branch meeting, and being the only one with beer and an AGM, I got elected as the next branch chairman and said, "Well, if I'm going to run the show, you all bring your own beer from now on." And so I encourage these young guys to keep. I encourage these young motivated professionals to keep going with their political pursuits. I thank my colleagues who warmly welcomed this group to this place, and I trust that their relationships and their initial encounters today were beneficial not only to them but to the members that they met. I believe also, Mr Speaker, you may have actually started your origins within the party with a young movement group as well. I encourage the fine group of young Australians to continue to pursue their political goals. Each of them should know that if there's absolutely anything I can do to assist them in their political endeavours, I am more than happy to do so. I take this opportunity to thank them for their commitments to the party and wish them every success to date, and compliment them on the professional way in which they have conducted themselves whilst in this House and whilst in my presence. Thank you, Mr Speaker.